The goal of La Jolla Playhouse's Without Walls, or WOW Festival, is to force theater out of traditional spaces and into the community for site-specific work. Last year, Blind Spot Collective created Hall Pass at a high school. Now, with the coronavirus pandemic, Blind Spot Collective's co-founder, Catherine Hannah Schrock, says it's a curious time for the organization.
Because part of our vision in general is to illuminate stories in the blind spot and to amplify marginalized voices. And we, in this moment, are all in the blind spot. We're all marginalized. We're all behind walls and doors and windows in our homes. But we're theater people. So that means that we need to have our audience members be the live and in-person component of the work, which is really kind of the premise in which we started thinking about our new piece, Walks of Life.
Walks of Life is an auditory theater experience in much the same way that you listen to a podcast. Audience members will be asked to download an audio file and listen to an audio file, hopefully from something like a smartphone, that will allow them to actually leave their home and take a 30 to 40-minute walk.
Then a narrator takes you through 3 short plays.
And each of those plays is then positioned as if it might be a slice of life that's happening behind the fences or front doors of the houses you're passing on that walk through your own neighborhood. We're really interested in forging imagined connections with our neighbors, which for us is one of the losses of this time. We don't necessarily have the opportunity to go to the park or walk down the street and engage with neighbors in a physical sense, or with friends and family for that matter in a physical sense.
You could say it's an auditory, imagined voyeurism into your neighbors' lives, but with the goal of creating a sense of connection while in quarantine.
That they will both feel connected to someone's unique experience, because we love the idea of bridging disparate communities, but also that they'll feel some resonance in some of the very common experiences that we're all having right now in this moment.
And in this moment of sheltering at home, David Israel Reynoso sees possibilities rather than limitations.
What I love about being in the creative arts and the creative field, and sort of being someone who is having to think creatively in terms of problem solving with work like this, it's important to focus more on the possibilities that are still available, despite the fact that we do have some things that are hedging us in. I mean, there's no denying we are certainly limited. And yet, I think limitations encourage innovation.
The Playhouse's artist-in-residence wants us to consider if the screens we look at all day could be portals to something else.
I think a lot of the content that's digital, you can also be quite passive in your seats, in your bed, wherever it is that you're watching. And I think instead, I'm hoping that this is something that encourages participation and encourages you to activate your mind in a way that you might not otherwise in your day-to-day within the idea of being quarantined right now.
As with Reynoso's previous WOW project, Las Quinceañeras, this year's digital offering of Fortaleza draws on disparate media influences to provide an inventive, multisensory journey, but this time without ever having to leave your living room. And by going digital this year, the festival ups its wow factor by turning quarantine into site-specific inspiration and creating an opportunity to reach more people than it ever could with its live performances. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.